What is this? Who knew? Somebody put some backdrop here and it says after Neverland. Hmm. So before it was Neverland, and now it's after. Right? What's going on? Nothing. But the blue light is just there and it's there and it's glowing and the red seats is where you're sitting. Oh, bloodbath. And what do you have here? A meeting. You have a meeting taking place. And certain action points are talked on. So let's talk about.
I'm here. In 25 years of The Oprah Show, I taped 217 episodes on sexual abuse.
Wow, who knew? 217. Because, like, yes, yes. Go on. You're allowed to say that. Yes, 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 yes.
I tried and tried and
Oh,
tried to
oh,
get the
oh.
message across to people that sexual abuse was not just abuse, it was also sexual seduction. So after
Whoa! So she tried and tried her best. She just tried and tried her best. 217 times. To not only show that there's child abuse going on, but there's child seduction. What does that even mean? Does that mean children are seducing adults? Yeah, you're going to blame the child, aren't you? You're going to say, oh, you're just so seductive. Oh, damn it. Right? No. You're going to say, oh, it's a grooming, a brainwashing. What are you saying? A seduction. Wow, what a shame.
I saw Leaving Netherland for the first time, I called up Dan Reed. I didn't know Dan.
So she's seen it multiple times. The first time I saw it, she's seen it multiple times, right? Exactly. She's seen abuse multiple times and apparent seduction. But no, no, no. Apparently, this is just all news to her. Even though she's been trying 217 times. Wow, amazing.
Dan Reed and told him that, Dan, I said, you were able to illustrate in these 4 hours what I tried to explain in 207.
So you failed. So you're a failure. So why do you claim yourself to be so powerful and one of the most successful bashes out there in television, and you were self-made and this and that and this and that? So the thing that's least on your agenda, if you will, is to actually rid of any abuse. No, you just present it on TV 217 times for ratings. Who knew? It had nothing to do with stopping it. No. Had nothing to do with stopping it. No. Exactly. But now you sit there and say, this other bash in 4 hours did what I did, tried to do in 217. So what did he do? What did this bash do?
17. And I know people all over the world are going to be in an uproar and debating whether or not Michael Jackson
Like
did
that
these
guy, or
things or
this guy,
not,
or this guy.
whether these two men are lying or not lying.
So she's gonna go, of course, this documentary just doesn't say anything, but you guys can debate all you want, and this and that, and the relentless struggle, and this and that. What is she saying? Nothing.
But for me, this moment transcends Michael Jackson.
Oh, she
It
had to
is much
say. She had to say it. It transcends us into the after Neverland. What do we do now? After all of us are abused and this and that and this and that, what do we do? Nothing.
much bigger than any one person. This is a moment in time that
So just bashing you and telling you it's all about the collective. It's bigger than any one person. So forget these two bashes that say that apparently they were abused and this and that and this and that allegations, right? You would say. But this guy just looks like he's about to cry at any given moment. And this guy relentlessly looking down. And who's this? Some creepy guy just clasping onto his chair and laughing. Who knows? Who knows why? But what's going on? Some collective bash is she's saying, hey, this is bigger than any of you. Really? So if it was bigger than you, so that's why you did it 217 times to attempt to be as big as it, right? And now you're bigger than life, right? You're just huge, huge. What a shame. And now you boast that huge brainwashing power to bestow afterland. Afterland, right? Because now that it's all trolled and bloodbath, you say, wait, there's future. There's hope. Bash. False hope.
Allows us to see this societal corruption. It's like a scourge on humanity.
Societal corruption. She just had to blame everyone. It's bigger than anyone, and that's why you're all to blame. Just wordsmithing. Wow, look at this. This is truly amazing. She's saying, the reason I'm bringing this forward, because to me, it's bigger than all of us, and it's a societal corruption. Effectively pointing the finger at society. What is society? This non-accountable, thing that just is, right?
And it's happening right now. It's happening in families.
Because society can't be held accountable. It's people. Under man's law, right? It's people that are held accountable. So-called persons. Legal persons, right? And all these fictitious things and words, whispers, and this and that. But no, society cannot be held accountable. So by her saying, "Oh, this is a societal corruption and all blah blah," it's scouring our nation. What is going on? Smashed. Because she knows the individuals that are implicated. She knows the individuals that are out there smashing and doing it. Or she knows of it. But what is going on? No, no, no. It's bigger than us. And it's society. What a shame.
We know it's happening in churches and in schools and sports teams everywhere.
Wow. At which point all of these people get so nervous.
So if it gets you, our audience, to see how it happens, then some good would have come of it. Child sexual abuse, even the word abuse, lacks accuracy. I've been saying this for years and years and years, that it's confusing, the word abuse, when you say sexual abuse, because as you just saw in Leaving Netherlands, that as young boys, these two men did not feel abuse until much later on in life.
Okay. So first of all, she's saying it's in the churches, it's in your sports team, it's in your schools, and your homes. So how is that bigger than the individual? No, it's not. For who knew that in the church? Wow, it's some person doing it. In the sports team? Wow, it's some person or persons doing it. Wow, in some home, it's the parent or some family friend or this or that. It's a person doing it. And what are they all worshiping? Who knew? Filled with anger and filled with just boasting of wanting to manipulate and control and lash out to what was done to them. Or that's all they know. This is how they know how to manipulate, how to do the bidding of what's asked of them. And somehow it just feels good too. The friction, this and that, and somehow you're saying, wow, I'm helping this child. I'm helping them learn how to masturbate. I'm telling them how amazing it is. Yes, you can do it. Just rub and rub and rub and rub and pull and pull and pull and just milk it. Yes, rub that little bean all the way till you feel good. Because the reason why you might be even aware of it is because you're surrounded by false love, feeling void, and you just want to feel something. So go ahead and now masturbate. What is that? Seduction. Corrupting the child. And you say, no, 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 it's liberation. There's nothing wrong with masturbation. Just teach a child from birth how to do it. And then everything will be okay. What a shame. Of course, the child doesn't know he's being abused. They don't know the word. So just because they don't know the word doesn't mean that they don't know. The defilement, the breach of trust, the bond, some sort of, protection gone. Now just relentlessly open for what? Grooming. Just bashing, beating the life out of you.
And when you are a child, this is a message I want every parent to hear. You don't have the language to explain what is happening to you.
That's why you have the bash adult telling you and slithering words into you the whole time the abuse is taking place so that you think it's okay. It's not that you don't have the words. No. You're guided. You're misled. Wow, what a shame. This is sorcery, and she is a master at it.
Because you've been seduced and entrapped.
Seduced. What does a child know about seduction? Nothing. Could it be that they're filled with what? They look up to a parent. They look up. They're there to learn. It's not that they're seduced, so somebody pulls down their pants and say, "What? Do you want to learn how this works?" The kid, wow. What does it know? It says, "Oh, I have one of those." Okay, it's misleading them. It's defiling them. It's not seduction in the sense that, oh, a child is turned on, and no, it learns all those bashes. It learns that way to perceive the world and to see themselves. And look, filled with shame. Look, this guy is about to cry at any given moment. And this guy's just so hard. He's just putting on a face that's just, look, I'm just steel.
So when you testified at 11 years old, were you thinking about it as abuse then? Did you know you were being abused?
Abused.
And you were just defending Michael? When did you start to know that it was abuse?
Oh, he's like, okay, don't say anything.
Yeah, at that point, when the abuse started, and when I was 11, even when I was 22, and later, I had no understanding that what.
So he had no understanding, even at age 22, what was going on because he had been smashed and dashed on since he was a child. So it was just all he knew, apparently, and no one around him told him otherwise. And he was just living it blinded, apparently. What is going on? So these are the talking points, okay? This is the meeting taking place. They call it an interview, but it's a meeting. And what happens at a meeting? You guessed it. Duties and proper purpose and this and that. Right? Why? 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 What is a board of directors? Right? What is a board of directors and what is a boardroom? A room where people who control a company or organization meet. So of course everyone thinks it's just some room where the supposed people that run a company, organization, a not for profit, a bash, It doesn't even matter. But what is it? What is it? It's temperature checking. It's pacing. And what people are going to do about it. Action points. And they vote and they do this and that and that. Temperature checking. Boardroom, the room where a group of people, especially the board of a company or organization, conducts its meetings. Corporations or corporate management considered as a section of society. So apparently, it's societal corruption, so it must be a corruption of the boardroom, right? Apparently, according to the Bash definition, a section of society, right? What is going on? Though the new law is popular amongst the general public, it is hated in the boardroom. Two-faced hypocrites. What is going on? Because now there's board members, right? Board directors. A board of directors is a group of people who jointly supervise the activities of an organization. So, this person is supervising a meeting. And who knew that everyone will take action points out of this meeting? Who knew? All because they're going to be brought to have some sort of consensus. They're being brainwashed to have a consensus. All in favor? Aye. Now go out there and smash this new approved by the secretary action point. What a shame. And everybody just loves it. And they say, oh no, 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 no. This is how leadership happens. This is democracy, and oh, it's amazing! What a smash! Smash. Smash. Smashed against this table, this round table of the kitchen table that you relentlessly worship. And you're saying, oh, everyone's just regular ass people, and they're all just helping each other, and they want to all just have the best interest for you all the time. What a shame. Which can either be a for-profit business, not-for-profit organization, or a government agency. Who knew? Who knew? No one, apparently. Such a board's powers, duties, and responsibilities are determined by government regulations, right? Oh, thank you. Including their jurisdictions, corporations, law, of course. And the organization's own constitution and bylaws. These authorities may specify the number of members of the board, how they are to be chosen, and how often they are to meet. So they decide. Wow. Not the government. So supposedly the government controls it, but no. Then the members, they choose who they are, how they meet, and what they're going to do. Wow, amazing. The board is accountable to and might be subordinate to the organization's full membership, which usually vote for the members of the board. Right. First, they have to be nominated by who? Board members. Or what? The member body? Stakeholders? Shareholders? What is this? In a stock corporation, non-executive directors are voted by the shareholders. Right. With the board having ultimate responsibility for the management of the corporation. Yes! Steering. Roles. Table duties of the board include governing, selecting, appointing, terminating, ensuring the availability of adequate financial resources, approving annual budgets, accounting to the stakeholders for the organization's performance, setting the salaries, compensation, and benefits of senior management. Oh. Who knew that this is just fractal of brainwashing you into accept man's authority over man. Man's authority over man and thinking himself God, and somehow he's God over man and God over God. Well, just botched. Why? Oh, it's just organization. It's just leadership. Bash. Bash, 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 bash. Right? Look at all this. Look at all this. A chief executive officer. I mean, it's just shape shifting terminology. Who knew that there's a director? It could be an inside director, outside. He's in and out and in it, and he's executive and non-executive, and shadow or de facto or nominee director. Wow, wow. Of course, smashed. But who knew? It's just a take on the defiance, the rebellion, secret occult meetings that shape the perception of life by action points. Aww. And discussing, yeah, what that body does. Aww. Aww. Self cleansing. Wow. I made it clear in the decision of automatic self cleansing filter syndicate. A self cleansing. I mean, it's endless. Okay, exercise the powers, the quorum, the common law, and voting, and smashed. In favor, out of favor, in favor. Who's gonna do it? You gotta support me this time. Vote with me, and I'll give you that and this and that. It's for the better, the proper purpose. Unfettered discretion. All these terms. Conflict of duty and interest. Who knew? The problem of conflict of interest. Who knew? But no, it's just abuse apparently. And nobody knows it's been done to them. Whoa. Who knew? Who knew? And look at this. Leaving Las Vegas, leaving Neverland. Okay, this is what they're talking about. At the height of his stardom, the world's biggest pop star, Dispatch began long-running relationship with two boys, aged 7 and 10. They now allege that he sexually abused them. Now. Because now it's time, better later than never. What is going on? Just rehash, refurbishing, because it's a corpse, okay? Because look, who knew that a slight definition, adding an this is the core, right? The military, the core. You know, this P is silent and the S is silent. It's just the core. A main subdivision of the armed force in the field consisting of two or more divisions. A branch of military organization is assigned to a particular kind of work. A body of people engaged in a particular activity. Short for corps de ballet. Coming from Latin corpus, body. Right? Corpse. Now you add an E at the end and it changes the meaning apparently. Archaic, a human or animal body, whether living or dead. Does it change the meaning? No, it's the same thing. A dead body, especially of a human being. The remains of something discarded or defunct. So, this means that all these bashes are dead. What does that even mean? They're alive and not knowing. That's what it means. Corpse. An entity believing itself void. Yet, can still be held accountable, right? Under the law. As a legal person. For that is what a corporation is: a company or group of people authorized to act as a single entity, legally a person, and recognized as such in law. An admiralty law, you're out in the open ocean like a sitting duck about to get smashed. A group of people elected to govern a city, town, or borough. Council. Corporation. Who knew? Who knew it's a board of members? Who knows this? Who knew it's a NGO and this and that? They all meet in the boardroom. But the boardroom doesn't just take place in some room somewhere in some bash. No. It takes place in the open for you to consume and be part of the pastrying and the temperature checking of what will be decided. But those who, oh, you couldn't wait, right? Those who, yes, steer and control said corpse's direction, its agenda. Who knew? It's self-preservation and how they involve a network with other bashes, other dead bashes. Who knew? All raising their hand and begging to live. Wow. Is that No, that's for the members at large, right? Those are for the members at large to do. Just beg and vote to what they're being presented with at the meeting. Who knew? Who knew? Com- Competing with the company, right? Oh, similarly, they should not act as directors of competing companies, as their duties to each company would then conflict with each other. Who knew? Conflict of interest, bash and bash. So that every person is just in for the common success of the corpse. Yes, yes. And it's truly, it's truly the way of Satan. Who knew? And look, sex reacher Kinsey. Who knew? Who knew? Let's take a look because what is going on? Because first of all, what is Neverland? Is a fictional island featured in the works of J.M. Barrie and those based on them, right? According to this bash, it is an imaginary faraway place where Peter Pan, Tinker Bell, and the Lost Boys and other mythical creatures, and other beings live. Whoa! Although not all people who come to Neverland cease to age, its best known resident famously refused to grow up. He just refused. They refused. The term is often used as a metaphor for eternal childhood, immortality, and escapism. So, what happens to a child when they're being sodomized or told to suck this or touch this or do this or down to that? Escape! And where do they go? Somewhere where they're a child forever. Wow. The concept was first introduced as a Never Never Land in the theater play Peter Pan, or The Boy Who Wouldn't Grow Up. He just wouldn't grow up. Oh, we tried and tried and made 217 attempts for him to grow up, but he didn't. So we just had to defile him and sodomize him and just bash him. In his 1911 novelization, Peter and Wendy, Barrie referred to the Neverland and its many variations, the Neverlands. Could it be the universe and the multiverse? Whoa! No, 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 it couldn't be. Although the caption to one of F.D. Bedford's illustrations called it the Neverland, Never Neverland. Oh, in the earliest drafts of Barrie's play, the island was called Peter's Never Never Neverland. Whoa, now it's XXX. First it was X rated, now it's triple X. Who knew? A name possibly influenced by the Never Never, a contemporary term of outback Australia. Oh, just bash. What is this? Of course, just bashing you with the cannon. But this is apparently Neverland. It's where the idea came from and the nature of look. The exact situation of Neverland is ambiguous and vague. In Barry's original tale, the name for the real world is the mainland, which suggests Neverland is a small island reached by flight. Peter tells Wendy the way to Neverland is second to the right and straight on till morning. The morning star that showeth, right? Shame. But he is described as saying anything that came into his head. In the novel, the children are said to have found the island only because it was out looking for them. Wow. Barry also writes that Neverland is near the stars of the Milky Way and it is reached always at the time of sunrise. Wow. Of course, they couldn't wait. Added the star. Okay. Walt Disney added the star to Peter's directions. Second star to the right, and straight on till morning. See, it's always just a rehash of the same, premise. Is it? Hmm. Because what prevents a child from growing up? What is a child? Or what are they talking about? The physical child, like the physical body, or is it the state of being? What state of being does a child have? Because their body will, change, grow, get bigger. But what what is childhood? Okay, the state, the mind, what is it? The thoughts, the supposed what they're learning, what they're being exposed to, what? Their environment? No. What they worship, yes. So apparently in Neverland they just worship escapism. Yes. So back to this. Who is Kinsey? Sexual behavior in the human male. Wow, who is it? One of the most influential Americans of the 20th century, Alfred Charles Kinsey, conducted landmark studies of the male and female sexual behavior that helped usher in the sexual revolution of the 1960s. Who knew? He was born in Hookton, blah, 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 bash, 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 bash. But after 2 lackluster years, Alfred rebelled and left for Bowen College in Maine, where he enrolled as a biology student. Father and son never reconciled. When Alfred graduated with his high honors in 1916, his father refused to attend commencement. Who knew? All because his father, zealously religious and intimidating man and a teacher of Stevens institution, insisted that his son put aside his earliest interest in biology and instead enroll in the Stevens study of engineering. So there was no reconciling because his father wanted him to be an engineer, and this pastor said, "No! Biology!" Smashed. Alfred became a student of applied biology at Harvard, where he came under the influence of William Morton Wheeler, who knew an eminent field biologist, staunch Darwinian, and confidant of the irreverent H.L. Mencken, who knew. With Wheeler as his mentor, Kinsey jettisoned most of his religious ideas, right? Of course, he couldn't wait. Although not of his repressive upbringing, and embarked on a massive and meticulous Darwinian case study of the evolutionary taxonomy of the gall wasp. Ba 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 bash bash bash. He went up the ranks. He climbed up. Perhaps because of his disappointment, Kinsey made an unusual career move in 1938. He agreed to lead a team-taught course on marriage and the family instituted in response to a student petition. High points of the course were Kinsey's illustrated lectures of biology of sexual stimulation, masturbation, the mechanics of intercourse, and the techniques of contraception, as were his spirited denunciations of repressive laws and social attitudes. Wow. Oh no. He also attempted to replace conventional ideas of normal sexual behavior with a new biological definition. He couldn't wait. Nearly all the so called sexual perversions fall within the range of biologically normality. Of course, his research says. As his recent biographer James Jones Kinsey was using the marriage course to transform his private struggle against Victorian morality into a public crusade and to protest issues that had bedeviled him for decades. Okay, so he was trying to justify depravity and all the perversions under the umbrella of biology, and who knew he was successful? Bash 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 bash. Right, look at it. The book, based on over 5,000 sexual histories, provided a series of revelations about the prevalence of masturbation, adulterous sexual activity, and homosexuality. Who knew? One religious leader attacked Kinsey for publishing the most anti religious book of our times. Some criticized his methods and conclusions because of inadequate sampling techniques. Inadequate, what does that even mean? Well, they're about to tell you. Others extravagantly praise him as another Galileo or Darwin. Yes, he was worshipped, idolized. All the perverts and depravats now revered him as a pioneer. Now they could come out into the light. Amazing. Amazing. But no, it couldn't be that they were in those behaviors because of some sense of voidness, escapism. No, it couldn't be. No. It's just a preference. And it's all biological in evolution. Wow. Wow. So, what is this? But beyond this simple fact that Kinsey Hills was a pervert and sex criminal, right? To begin with, the integrity of much of his work has long since been called into question. Among his questionable practices, Kinsey encouraged those he was working with to engage in all types of sexual activity as a form of research, misrepresented single people as married, and hugely overrepresented incarcerated sex criminals and prostitutes in his data. But beyond this is the simple fact that Kinsey himself was a pervert and a sex criminal. Who knew? So this article says, for example, where did he get all his data on the sexual behavior of children? The answer is nothing short of chilling. Dr. Judith Reisman, whose research has since been confirmed time and time again, explained in her groundbreaking work, Sex, Lies, and Kinsey, that Kinsey facilitated brutal sexual abuse to get his so-called research. Kinsey solicited and encouraged pedophiles at home and abroad to sexually violate from 317 to 2,035 infants and children for his alleged data on normal child sexuality. Many of the crimes against children, oral and anal sodomy, genital intercourse, and manual abuse, right? Apparently teaching a child the beauty of the liberation of just frictioning yourself into oblivion. Into escapism, rather. Committed for Kinsey's research are quantified in his own graphs and charts. For example, Table 34 on page 180 of Kinsey's Sexual Behavior in the Human Male claims to be a scientific record of multiple orgasms in pre-adolescent males. Here, infants as young as 5 months were timed with a stopwatch for quote-unquote orgasm by Kinsey's technically trained aides, with one 4-year-old tested 24 consecutive hours for an alleged 26 orgasms. But the actual, crying was seen as a response of orgasm. If the child was crying, it's like, oh, he's orgasming. What a shame. Sex educators, pedophiles, and their advocates commonly quoted these child data to prove children's need for homosexual, heterosexual, and bisexual satisfaction via safe sex education. These data are also regularly used to prove children are sexual from birth. Exactly. That was the whole purpose of that Bash's work. To normalize abuse of children. And if you normalize the abuse of children, then the adult will just accept the abuse that comes after. Because anyone who thinks that they're an adult and that they're not abused, wow. What a shame. That is proof of complete brainwashed, trawled, half bash ape, monkey, bird, mouse bloodbath of a brain that you think you have that evolved somehow for billions of years. What a shame. The man heralded with enthusiasm by mainstream publications such as Time and Life magazine was nothing less than a monstrous facilitator of child rape. In fact, he even went so far as to record children shrieking and thrashing in pain, passing out, and convulsing as the result of the hellish abuse he was putting them through as evidence of orgasm, especially for children who could not yet speak. And of course, his work, amongst others, probably, who worked on it, elaborated on his work since, are what has caused everything the confusion of what, sex is. But no, it's just sex and liberation. Yay! Smashed. Both Kinsey's most recent admiring biographers confess he was a sadistic homosexual who seduced his male students and coerced his wife, his staff, and the staff's wives to perform for and with him in illegal pornographic films made in the family attic. But of course, they didn't put any of this in the movie that was made out of him. No, it wasn't. It was just, he was a pioneer and he was such a good man. Kinsey and his mates, Wardle, Perra, Claramano, blah, 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 had front marriages, beards, that concealed their strategies to supplant what they say as a narrow procreational Judeo-Christian era with a promiscuous anything goes, even their clothes, by gay pedophile paradise. After Neverland. This is the whole thing. After Neverland. Because they're saying now we don't need escapism because now it's out in the open everywhere. Yes. Now you don't, it's not the second star from the route. Now it's just go outside. No, you don't even have to leave your house because it's happening in your house. So, this bash is talking about nothing. Just having a board meeting of how it is that you're going to go into after Neverland. This is the softball of what is the plan for all these defiled people exactly. She'll tell you, she'll gladly tell you, but I had enough of her. All because this and that and this, and the board members are going to tell you everything. No. Self-preservation of what? Some agenda, destruction, theft, crushing of life, all while thinking, they're in my best interest and they're giving me things that will help me. Yay! No, smashed. Worshipping this. Sexology. And the Kinsey reports. And yes, the clitoris, and it's just so mysterious. And yeah, just put the clitoris up in power because the smash penis helmet has been in power too long. So put the clitoris in there, and it'll all be better, right? What's going on? Nothing. You're being bashed into accepting abuse. And who knew that this is how they did it? But no, 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 it couldn't be. It's still nice. Life is still beautiful. Life is still beautiful. In your image, life is hell. You hate your life. Yet, life is amazing. But what do you see? Kinsey's so called research was simply a quest to justify the fact that he himself was deeply disturbed man. Really? Hmm. Oh. So now he was just abused himself, and that's why he did it. What is going on? Because what is going on? The source of the it made the bestseller list within 3 weeks. Despite its 804 pages, generally dry scientific style, and ponderous weight of statistics, tables, and graphs, by mid March it had sold over 200,000 copies. The book, based on over 5,000 sexual histories, provided a series of revelations about the prevalence of masturbation, adulterous sexual activity, and homosexual. One real wow, whoa, whoa, whoa! Of course he had to. The next major project was the sexual behavior in the human female. Of course, now they have the male, now it's female. Published in 1953, based on almost 6,000 sexual histories, this book contained many revelations about such matters as women masturbatory practices, premarital sexuality, and orgasmic experiences. As before, Kinsey documented an enormous gap between social attitudes and actual practices. Also, as before, the book was a media sensation. But this time, the counterattack was so ferocious, including a congressional investigation of his financial support, the Rockefeller Foundation. At which point, the Rockefeller Foundation terminated its funding. They're like, oh, no, no, it's too close. Because who knew that the Rockefeller Foundation was his funding source, his groomer? And he was but a pet. Okay, the Rockefeller Foundation, right? Some board in society, right? Because who knew that most companies have weak mechanisms for bringing the voice of society into the boardroom. They rely on personalities who weren't appointed for their understanding of societal issues. Often they give limited focus both through time and financial resources to issues of corporate responsibility and sustainability. A social board has society design into its structure. Who knew? It elevates the voice of society through specialist appointment to the board and mechanisms that empower innovation from within the organization. Social boards align themselves with themes that are important to society, like sexual and how you can abuse children. These may include measuring worker pay ratios, linking personal, social, environmental objectives, remuneration, integrated reporting, fair tax, and B Corp certification to abuse. Social boards recognize that they are part of society and they require more than a license to operate to succeed. They balance short-term shareholder pressures against long-term value creation of abuse, managing the business for a plurality of stakeholders, including employees, shareholders, supply chains, and civil society, right? So you need a board, and you better make it a board and society because you want to advance in society, and you want to help steer society, and you want to be the web that just gets its piece of the pie. Amazing. Amazing. Enough of that, Bash. Because you're a corp, you worship in the dead legal person. Right? Kinsey's team forced subjects to give the desired answers to their sex questions, secretly trashed 3/4 of their research data, and based their claims about normal males on roughly 86% aberrant male population, including 200 sexual psychopaths, 1,400 sex offenders, and hundreds each of prisoners, male prostitutes, and promiscuous homosexuals. Moreover, few normal women will talk to them. That Kinsley team labeled women who lived over a year with a man married, reclassifying data on prostitutes and other unconventional women as Susie Homemaker. So just bashing the data, bashing, all with the attempt, no, all in mind with the action point to justify any sexual behavior, all under the umbrella of biological evolution. Today's pornified sex educators, legal experts, academics, and more disturbingly, pedophile groups such as NAMBLA, pushing intergenerational intimacy, all use Kisney's work to justify their agendas and lend their causes scientific credibility, right? Because just because he was a scientist, apparently, and did certain research, apparently, now it's like, whoa, it's science, and look, now we can love boys incessantly and repeatedly forever. Smashed. So exactly, we got to this place in our culture of such sexual nihilism. We don't give a damn. It's just about, well, this type of rubbing feels better. So this friction I accept. That's other kind. Somehow I see it. Well, it's just I'm not okay with it yet, but it's just because the research isn't out yet on it. Once the research is out and it says it's okay, then yes, I'll be on board with it always. Right? What a shame. What a shame. What a shame. Funded by Rockefeller, the stakeholders, they are the ones who are pushing the research, not some bash guy that left. He didn't want to be an engineer. He just wanted to go against what his father wanted to do. Aww. Aww. Or no, he was just following some passion in this and this and no, smashed. He was promised, he was given a false promise of, and he believed it. He wanted to be the pioneer. Who knew? And go read it for yourself. Look at all this. They praise him. They praise him. Oh, see, they praise him. Oh, he's found out so much. Smashed. All in escapism. All trying to justify escapism. Because, no, it's okay. You can keep sodomizing children, and they just turn out just fine. They just turn out so fine. It's just because I love to just smash children because it's just so good, and they're basically adults because they're born loving to just masturbate. They're born just loving to masturbate and orgasm relentlessly. So it's okay. I can't wait to teach my child all about pornography and masturbation and sodomy and just in and out because it's just so natural. What is natural? You hate that word. Yet you worship it. You worship nature. Oh, in the environment. Oh, yay. Wow. Yet you destroy, thieve it, and just demolish it. Wow. Totally hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. Why? Because you're deceived. But you won't admit it because it's just too good. It's just too good because you can be a leader. You can be a leader and organize people to just action point this and vote at this and veto that and this and that and that and that and craft point and do PowerPoints and this and nominate and execute and terminate and hire and this and that. Nothing. That is just nothing. Nothing. So you're just swaying some opinion of this and being in favor and out of favor and this and that and that and this and that. And all the while, the children are just being, who knew? Apparently, you just think children are just being educated and knowledge is power. No, they're being educated in masturbation. And you can be anything and have sex with whatever you want, whenever. And now you can be called whatever you want and identify as whatever you want. Whenever. All because you are the child who never grew up. That refused to grow up. What does that even mean? No. To have the mind of a child is to be what? undefiled. For it is the world, the ways of the world that defiles you and tells you you're mature and growing up and adult this and adult that. No. What union are we with when we are born? What life is it that we're living? What are we sheltered in? What are the parents' responsibilities? Oh no, it's the parents' responsibilities just to abuse and relentlessly violate the child. And if not the parents, then some close friend that will come and diddle them and show them how to masturbate. Amazing. That's what you worship, even though you say, no, it's just horrible. It's just horrible. I can't stand it. I won't know it. No, it's too late. It's already been done. And now you just look away. You look away and look away, and you're going to want to lash out. You're full of anger. And that's why when Bash, documentaries come out of saying, yes, this Bash did it, and now it's everywhere. It's in churches. It's in this and that in sports team. No, wow. That's been the name of the game for the last 100 years at least. A mass attempt to normalize something that you call abuse. Wow. No, it couldn't be. It couldn't be. Right? Because all of this, 1911, earliest turn of the century, okay? And this guy, right, is all his work led to the supposed thing. Bosch is in, so he's just zoologist, right? He thinks himself an animal, a Bosch guy in some cage. Who is 1940? Right, 1948. For during the World Wars, right? During the time of the World War, supposed the last World War. That's when he was able to publish it, founded by the Rockefeller Institution or whatever council or this, a bash, bash, bash. And it's been a incessant work, relentless, right, to get you to just say, well, give me more of it. Give me more abuse. Yay! All because it's science. So, exactly, you're just some bash dead body. You're defunct. Okay? Because you worship all of this. And ultimately, you're selling the children. You're selling away the children to the devil, to Satan's way. All because you deny life, the truth, and the way. Repent. Seek shelter. Seek refuge in truth. Overcome and inherit all things. Life everlasting, the true promise. Not some bash, trauma, and now we're gonna help you and send you to some bash institution where they're just gonna reprogram you into feeling nice again. What is going on? Parents are bashed these days. And your parents were bashed too because they were sold. So where does that bash take place? Well, it goes back. We don't First World War. Those people who sent their men to die for what? Nobody knows, but they died. They all died. And then again, sent your men to die in Second World War. They just all died. They just got crushed, demolished, bloodbath. For what? Who knows? But apparently it was just the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and this and that and this and this and that and that. Smashed. What is going on? The death, the genocide of those who were there to protect their families. And now, well, they're just going to give you the truth that you're supposed to know. Didn't you know, dummy? And now, to fast forward to now, and wow, we're just pumping it out like nobody's business. Right? The Third Reich never lost the war. For the Third Reich's agenda is that of a world agenda, the ways of the world. That just because you call it the Third Reich is just a mask that can take it off and put on another one. But it's still the same relentless boardroom. Okay? The relentless boardroom that you think takes place in hidden doors and should be open, and this it is out in the open. It's what you call news, it's what you call reporting, it's what you call articles, it's what you call science. Just relentless temperature checking to see where the point of entry is to just defile you and abuse you into believing some fantasy. We'll end it there.